Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hot the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed with living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in.
I can't say it's easy, feeling the way I do now. Can't say it's simple, being so into you. Some say I'm crazy, I may say that's true. Can't think of nothing better than loving you. Far as I can see, we'll be alright. But when life goes wrong, love works it out. Work it out, love. That's what we're gonna do. Life without you, that can be sad and blue. Work it out, love. I'm gonna stay with you. I can't think of nothing better than loving you. What up, people? Welcome to a very important edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one, the only, Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yeah, man. And once again, best pop in the world. And that's something that's probably not going to change forever and ever and ever. And ever and ever and ever. Yes. Hopefully, I want to know. Matter of fact, I'm going to start out how y'all doing. Hopefully, everybody's doing fine. I'm doing okay myself. I won't say I'm the best that I've ever felt, but I'm slowly but surely getting there. That little ditty that I just, no ditty. But that little verse that I sung to the best of my abilities is from the debut album of Chrisette Michele. And I know some people are probably like, who the hell is Chrisette Michele? Or some people are probably like, oh, that's homegirl that sung at the inauguration of 45. Oh, her. Or some people might just be like, yeah, okay, what about Chrisette Michele? Regardless. That's from her debut album. And while she might have been talking about, matter of fact, being the fact that she was talking about a relationship, she was talking about love with somebody, that can go twofold with me. But more specifically, I chose that verse to coincide with my feelings and my thoughts and my love for this here show, my love for my platform, my love for the podcast that as of last week was not even 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 5 years old. And over the last 2 weeks, I've had a lot of contemplation. I've had a lot of thoughts. I've had a lot of feelings on pretty much the direction, my motivation, a whole gambit of feelings concerning this here podcast, this here show, this here platform. The fact that I'm on your screen right now answered a lot of questions to those who know, at least for the time being. But I I was listening to that song last night on my way home from my shoot job, and it instantly just came to me. I'm like, you know what? I think I need to put that in the show because there's a lot of parallels to that verse in particular, the song in particular, concerning me in this here podcast. But I will probably discuss that more at length, maybe at the end of this podcast or just in the upcoming episodes. But yeah, so you can read into that however you may, but it rings truer than a lot of people might on the outside looking in might deem it to be. So one of the things that I thought, because I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of creatively bankrupt. That's why you got kind of a dated episode last week. If you couldn't tell, that episode was recorded at the very, 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 very beginning of the Drake Kendrick battle, even though that ended with a crescendo this past week with the pop out, which is something I'm actually not going to talk about because a lot of people probably talked about it ad nauseum, and I don't have that much of a strong opinion. It was a great show. It was kind of like an addendum. Yeah, I'm going to stay on your neck and so forth. But that episode was recorded before the NBA playoffs, and there's no way now I can let the cat out the bag. There's no way in hell I could have put that episode out when I recorded it because just for the fact that I was talking about my side team would have greatly, greatly diminished the amount of credibility that I was hoping and potentially built up with the viewers of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph when following my New York Knickerbockers follies in these past NBA playoffs. Yeah, the NBA season is over. Yeah, whoopee. There's some type of champion that's in Boston. I don't know. I mean, I know they were playing some game with a round orange ball that they was bouncing on the hardwood. Hardwood down in Dallas and a parquet hardwood in Boston. But yeah, that whatever that was, that's over. So I don't got to talk about basketball. What I'm going to talk about this week is I got a laundry list of crap that I need to get off my chest. That I need to get off my noggin. That I need to get off my being. First and foremost, I'm going to let y'all know at the very tippy top that this truly will be a salty thoughts of Mike Steph episode. I've developed the habit, and tell you the truth, in a lot of cases, it was very well needed, very much needed, and very well placed. But I developed into a habit of actually writing notes for my podcast. Yeah, cat's out the bag. What, you thought I had those figures in my mind? Well, some of them I actually do have in my mind, but regardless. But I decided, for this week, especially this week, because this week is a very pivotal moment in the future of this platform. I am literally going to revert back to thoughts. Straight from the head. Off the top. Freestyle, if you will. I have some bullet points, but everything else is going to be spontaneous. So expect the return of the world famous tangents. Yes, tangents out the wazoo. I'm quite sure. But I have a whole list of things that I want to talk about personally, what happened with me. But sports wise, I'll just go down the laundry list. I will talk about the hubbub what's going on with Aaron Rodgers and all the talk about him missing the mini camp for the New York Jets due to his retreat to get high. Oh, my bad. Ayahuasca. Yeah, that not a darkness retreat, but regardless, it would be so Jetsian if he came out back from the retreat and like, you know what? I saw visions. And the visions I saw don't involve the Jets. But we haven't heard anything about that since. So, but yeah, there's been a great, grand, overreaction of what's been going on. And I know we're in the dead of sports season. The only thing that's going on right now is baseball, which brings me to my next topic. I'll be talking about the New York Mets, the New York Metropolitans streaking, and the New York Yankees struggling. Yeah, that would be my sports talk for the week. Because at its core, this is a sports centric podcast. But thoughts, 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 thoughts. So, what I'm going to do is actually something that I wasn't planning on doing. I'm going to cut this intro short right now, and then I'm going to get into the shit that happened to me this week, which is a whole laundry list. Normally, I either say that in the intro or I save that toward the end, but no. Guess what? My thoughts, going to be front and center here this week. If you don't like it, look down in the description and you can punch in whatever chapter that may just may tickle your fancy, and you can skip there. Look, I don't mind. Long as you watch this for more than 30 seconds, more than a minute, and it counts as a view, guess what? Victory for yours truly. So without further ado, let's get this ish on the road. Let's get this ish on the way. Ha. Good night. And goodbye. I have the right to reserve. I have the right to change whatever I feel like changing. So I figure, you know what? Let's get the Mets and the Yankees and all of them out the way so I can really dig deep into what I really need to get off my chest. So this starts with the New York Metropolitans. I know Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach should be happy that I'm starting out with the New York Metropolitans. Ain't that about a you know what? The Mets are streaking. They have won 8 of their last 10. And for the month of June, they are currently 12-6. If my math skills are correct. But the burning question when it comes to Met faithful, when it comes to Met Nation, if you will, is Grimace the reason for this newfound relevance, for this newfound pop in the bat, for this run that they put to bring them within a game and a half of the third and final wild card spot in the National League? I don't know. First of all, I want to know where the hell, matter of fact, Mrs. Met is way too close to Grimace. Mr. Met, his sorry, I'm really trying not to curse this week, but his silly butt is too close to Mrs. Met. I know they're supposed to be an item and everything, but listen. But regardless, why is it that Grimace has become a thing? It's because he's purple. I guess the purple coincides with those hideous City Connect uniforms, right? Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. The City Connect uniforms. I mean, it's not like they've been on a winning streak since they started wearing the City Connect uniforms. I mean, I think at one point they were 0 for 5 with the City Connect uniforms. Well, at least that's the math that Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach gave me. But nevertheless, is it maybe that there was a lull in the schedule that just coincidentally happened after the team meeting, after we hit rock bottom with the Jorge Lopez situation? I mean, just looking at the schedule, since the beginning of June, they lost the back 2 games of the 4-game set against Arizona. They swept the Washington Nationals. Okay. They split the London series against the Phillies. And then we won 2 out of 3 against Miami. Whoop-de-damn-do. We swept San Diego. Yeah. And we won 2 out of 3 against the Texas Rangers. the defending world champions, who actually resemble nothing like the world champions that they were last year, even though they got Matt Scherzer back, I believe today. Or was it yesterday? Regardless, that mother effer is not in Queens, so I could care less than a you-know-what. And now we have the rubber game set for what 7-10, actually in a matter of minutes, in Chicago against the Chicago Cubs. And then that leads us back to Gotham. That leads us back home to Citi Field, to the comfy confines of Citi Field, to go against the struggling Yankees in the 2-game set of the first salvo of the Subway Series. Do you think all this was because of Grimace? Because of Grimace? I mean, Francisco Lindor raising his average from 190, 200, right around the Mendoza line, to now a respectable eye of the beholder, 240. Maybe that has something, just something, to do with it. Pete Alonso has had a somewhat hot streak, raised his average to 244, 16 home runs, 42 RBIs, even though contract year numbers, those are still. Or maybe, just maybe, it's been the return of Francisco Alvarez from the IR. You know, Francisco Alvarez with the clutch hit after hit after hit after hit. 2 home runs in the last 3 games. Solo, albeit, but regardless. But actually whipping our pitching staff into shape. Maybe, just maybe, that's the reason. But no. When it comes to the Mets, when it comes to the Metropolitans, you know who gets the credit? Not the players on the field, not the management in the suites, not even the sportscasters in the booths. Dare I say, do the actual fan base get some type of kudos when it comes to supporting this mostly putrid team? It's this big fat mother effer donned in purple named Grimace. Wasn't Grimace a villain? I mean, I'm sorry. I remember Ronald McDonald in the game. The Hamburglar, villain. Grimace, villain. Ronald McDonald, pedophile. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I did. These are the people that created this situation that's going on in the United States. And you know what situation I'm talking about? Obesity. Being fat, out of shape, sloppy, New York nincompoops. Brooklyn bobbleheads. Crown Height cretins. Neighborhood nasties. Yeah, I got on my Rick Rude crap. But these are the true villains. Remember when McDonald's hasn't been the same since the styrofoam years. Only those of a certain age remember the styrofoam years, when the fillet of fish came in a blue styrofoam box, where the chicken McNuggets came in a golden styrofoam box. Same thing with the Big Mac. Yeah, the hamburgers, the regular hamburgers still have that wrapper, but the wrapper's not the same. The fries ain't the same. Ever since they took trans fat out of everything, have you ever noticed that all of a sudden now obesity is a thing since they took trans fat out? Now you're starting to catch all these type of illnesses. But that was the classic years. Those are the golden years of McDonald's, the styrofoam. But yeah, we had to get rid of styrofoam because it's not good for the environment. Like the environment is going to be never ending. everlasting. Only one person can give everlasting life. It's not getting rid of styrofoam. But I digress. Grimace is the reason. Those ugly, hideous uniforms are the reason. Nemo actually coming out his coma, hitting 244, which is low for him, but better than he was when me and the gang went out to City Field. Mark Vientos, 291. He's not the reason. Now, one question that I do have for all my Metropolitan fans out there is this. Do you feel that with the trade deadline approaching, do you feel that we should stay packed, stay intact, and really go hard for that third and final wild card? Or should you look at this as fool's gold? Or should you look at this as this is not really going to be sustainable? Because, well, Sterling Marte scratched for the game today, pulled out the game early yesterday due to a lingering knee injury. Should we try to cobble up whatever assets we have and try to look toward the future and try to really build this organization into long-lasting success, such as, it's going to hate me. I'm going to hate to say it, but such as the Atlanta Braves. That's long-lasting success. The New York Yankees. That's long-lasting success. The Dodgers, even though they've only had one championship and that was in a 6-game season, so that shit don't count. It's funny. LA, the last 2 championships LA has won has been in the pandemic. It makes me wonder, did they create the pandemic to win championships? Think about it. LeBron goes out there, a year later, all of a sudden, the world shuts down. But yet, he gets to raise that trophy. The world shuts down. The baseball season is cut to 60 games in largely empty stadiums. And guess who raises the trophy? The Los Angeles Dodgers. Think about it. Think about it. Just saying. But should we just say, you know what, all this is fool's gold and don't really feed into the hype? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Should we? I don't know. Part of me, selfishly, hopes they stink in September so I can get some front row seats for dirt cheap. Because guess what? As much as I would like for them to be in a playoff race, if I know they're not really contending for a World Series, guess what? I'd rather go to the game and give them the money that they richly deserve, which is about $30 per seat for maybe row 12. That's just me. Even though I'm not gonna lie, those seats that Smitty got us, that might be my new vantage point. First time I ever was on the first base side, I was so close to Gary Cohen. I was so close to Keith Hernandez. I smelled the taco meat on him. I was so close to Ron Darling. I smelled the pineapple juice coming out his veins. Could that be interpreted as being inappropriate? I don't know. That's almost like somebody saying, "Yeah, I saw Mike Steph down the block, and guess what? As soon as he went past me, guess what I smelled? I smelled watermelon." Just saying. And you know what my response would be? Seedless or with seeds? Did my rind taste extra good? Pause. Regardless, The Mets are streaking. Let's see which one. They end they end this month with a 2-game set at home against the Yankees, and then we host the Houston Astros, who are actually on a hot streak themselves, uh, for a weekend set next weekend, the end of month. So I would say in these last 6 games, if we can go 3-3 in these last 6 games, that keeps us about 2 games under 500 going into the All-Star break. That would be optimal. But this is also a litmus test. If let's say we go 1-5 in these next 6 games, I think David Stearns will have a very easy decision to saying, you know what? I gave y'all mother effers a chance. Y'all disappointed me per usual, and I'm going to cut bait with the whole bunch of y'all the same way that we should cut bait with this big, fat, nasty piece of purple glop, Grimace. Look at him. He doesn't even look like the Teletubby. I forgot the name of the purple Teletubby that was suspect. He just looks. I don't know, but I mean this. That's your king. That's your king. This is what we've come to, Mets fans. This is what we've come to. I don't get it. I don't get it. The Yankees. The Yankees are struggling. Struggling, I said. Struggling. After all season long, the Yankees are riding high. Not only top of the American League East, but top of the American League, period. But due to a 3-7 record in their last 10 games, they have dropped percentage points behind the Cleveland Indians in the race for the number 1 seed in the American League. Not only that, guess what? I will tell you right now. The schedule has not been kind to the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees have lost 3 consecutive series in a row. First was on the road against the Boston Red Sox, in which they won the first game, and then they followed up that victory with 2 losses in a row. And not only that, they gave up 8 and 9 runs, respectively. But you would think, oh, maybe that's a blip. Maybe that's a blip. No, 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 no. They came home for a very big series against the Baltimore Orioles for American East supremacy. And guess what? I tell you, after winning the first game, the first salvo of that 3-game set, they commenced to give up 24 runs in the 2 games remaining. 7-6 and 17-5. But no. Wait, it gets worse. Then they hosted the Atlanta Braves into Yankee Stadium in the Boogie Down Bronx, in the Burnt Down Bronx, in the South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx. And what did they do? I'll tell you exactly what they did. They laid down. They laid an egg. They scored in their 2 losses a combined 2 runs in their 2 losses. They lost 8-1. They beat the Braves in the middle game 8-3, and then they lost 3-1 in the final game of their 3-game set. And you're wondering, why am I talking like that? Why am I talking like that when it comes to the New York Yankees? Just maybe, this is my tribute to the former radio announcer for the New York Yankees, John Sterling. Just maybe Susan Waldman needs a replacement, needs a new partner. That would not be me. That would not be yours truly, because guess what? I can't stand the Yankees for who they are, what they represent, and where they currently are located. Yes, I know Sister Ooh lives in the Bronx, but the Bronx does not live in Mike Steph. No. The only time Mike Steph goes to the Bronx is to visit my dear, near Sister Ooh. And that's the only reason. And of course, my nieces, my nephews, my great nephews, my brother in law, the whole combined family. But besides that, you will not see Mike Steph's black eyes in the Bronx ever again. So, what are the Yankees going to do? What are the Yankees going to do? Looking at their schedule for the rest of this month, they have 6 games remaining. They have 2 against my aforementioned New York Metropolitans. And they have a 4-game set in the city where a known hip hop pedophile resides and calls himself home. And that is the city of Toronto. I wonder, will it be the opening salvo of the Hovio Fest? I don't know. The Toronto Blue Jays would be wise to keep everybody away from him. Keep everybody away from him. Stay away from him. He is no good. He is no good for your city. He is no good for your status. He is no good for anything involving do right and kill everything. Yes, I know what the acronym names, because that's not even his effing name. Where do you get Drake from? Aubrey Graham? You don't. The same way, where do you get Jay-Z from Sean Carter? You don't. At least you get Jadakiss from Jason. I mean, I kind of put myself into a corner because, matter of fact, you get Styles from his last name, and you get Chic, because who's going to tell Chic otherwise? That's really all I have to say about the Yankees. I know this is more like is this a bait and switch? Possibly, but I'm not the go-to Yankee person. That would be some dude out west, even though he has his own team in his own state, but he proclaims himself to be a Yankee fan, even though he was originated from the Garden State. I don't know. That's almost like me or being Golden State fan originating from the city of Brooklyn. Some things just can't be explained. Some things you just have to let slide. Am I right? My daughter, Main Event K, gave me the thumbs up sign. So I guess I'm correct. Even though I don't believe she knows about anything that I'm currently spilling off about. So, if you want more Yankee talk, look elsewhere. Because when they're successful, you won't hear peep coming out of my mouth. But when they're struggling, and when I have to get some jokes off, or should I say, in this case, some impersonation off, this is the place you need to tune into. In the great city of New York, in the great city of Gotham, we have two competing radio shows, sports radio, talk radio shows, battling for supremacy. We have WFAN New York, who is falling on hard times lately. Not so much financially, I don't know, but their engagement of what WFAN used to be is no longer there. You know, I come from the school of Steve Summers, Tony Page, the legend. Well, Steve Summers is a legend also. And sure, I'll even throw the legend at the feet of Joe Meningo. But now we have such hacks as Sal Licata and Brandon Tierney, who I used to be a fan of, but he's rubbed me the wrong way a long time ago. Then in the afternoon drive, we have Evan Roberts, whose shtick, say the truth, is growing old with me, because my thing is, you didn't have that same energy when you was allowing Craig Carton to treat you like the piece of crap that he treats everybody at. And then guess what? He went on the greener pastures, or should I say, the great unknown, because has anybody really paid attention to Craig Carton after he left WFAM? I think not. But Evan Roberts now is teaming up with Tiki Barber, who I'm not really that fond of, but when it comes to him and Evan, I guess I'll choose Tiki each and every time. Still in the morning, you got Boom and Geo, which, if you're into right wing supremacy talk, I guess that's your cup of tea. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I sprinkle politics in there, but F it, sue me. Anyway, but then if you go slightly down the dial, you have ESPN New York and their afternoon talk show, The Michael K. Show, with Michael K., Don LaGreca, personally my favorite, and Peter Rosenberg, who I think I've said in the past is unavoidable when it comes to me. A lot of my interests, he kind of is involved in a lot of my interests. Like, I like the Michael K. Show, so I got to listen to him for 3.5 hours. For the most part, it doesn't really bother me. When I used to take my daughter, Main Event K, to school, we would listen to, I used to try to keep it on 103.9, but she graduated and went to listen to the morning show. So we used to listen to Ebro in the morning, because the Breakfast Club, I just never got into it. And guess who was on Ebro in the morning? Peter Rosenberg. And then with my WWE fandom, guess who's there at the majority of the pre-shows? You guessed it, Peter Rosenberg. Like I said, listen, I don't knock the hustle. Listen, he getting 3 bags. Great. Good for him. And then, just like I said, good for him. He gets on my nerves when he acts like shit don't stink. In particular, and I'll bring this back to their origin, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers last week got a lot of flack for missing the mandatory minicamp for the New York Jets. the Jets didn't do themselves any favors by saying that it was an unexcused absence, or how they put it, an inexcused absence, even though they knew about it prior to the mini camp. And a lot of hubbub has been about the fact that they could have scheduled it. They had a chance to schedule it when he wasn't taking a retreat, and he had a chance to schedule his retreat when there wasn't a mini camp. And everybody knows that Aaron Rodgers is the face that runs the place. So, but it's where everything starts seeping into each other, because he has his theories, he has his thoughts on vaccines, on politics, on the presidential elections, on society as a whole, that goes left of what a lot of people deem to be sane in some respects. That this is where people's personal beliefs starts bleeding into actuality, starts bleeding into facts. I believe that their dislike for some of his beliefs caused them, Peter Rosenberg, and especially Michael Kay, Yankee boy himself, caused them to overreact. Also because of the drought in the sports season. They have 3.5 hours they have to fill every day. Especially if the Yankees are struggling and the Mets are surging. Do you really think it's prudent for the Michael Kay show, a vehicle who's simulcast on the Yankees station? Yes, to be bloviating about the Mets. But on the other hand, and I'll call a spade, on the other hand, being the fact that it's primarily an ESPN vehicle, it is in their interest to drum up interest for the upcoming Jet season. But if this is the Jets station, I'm not saying you're supposed to bend over and kiss the ring. And I'm not talking about the ring on the hand. I'm talking about the ring around the rosy backside. Do you think it's prudent for y'all to try to strum up any type of controversy? Think about it. They're saying, well, he only attended the voluntary OTAs because he wanted to use that as leverage. Like, look, I came to shit that I didn't want to come to, or I didn't have to come to. So therefore, y'all can't get on me, or pretty much the public will be on my side when I blow off the stuff that's mandatory. Oh, 31 other quarterbacks attended the mandatory mini camps. Why did Aaron Rodgers have to be an outlier? Why? Because he's that guy. You know who that guy is. That guy who wants to go against the grain. That guy who wants to show you that you can't tell him what to do. That guy that's more like in this picture right now of the Allen relevancy, which no longer exists. This guy that sticks out like a sore thumb. This redheaded bastard right here, Sami Zayn. That's who they're trying to say that Aaron Rodgers is trying to be. He's trying to be that guy. And I'm saying Michael Kay excluded, because Michael Kay has never really given his allegiance to what football team he roots for. He might have, but it's not apparent. My problem, and I'm really shocked to say this, my problem resides in Peter Rosenberg and his Washington no names down there. You know, first they were the Redskins. Yeah, I said it. Then they were the Washington football team, which is actually a better name than the Washington Commanders. You know, the commies. Worry about your own future team. down in the putrid capital of the city, D.C., or capital of the nation, D.C. Only thing more putrid than the football team is the legislative party that's currently inhabiting the Capitol, Congress, and the House of Representatives. And some would say the White House. And others would say the Supreme Court. You know, that whole big gamut, that whole big palace suck. Worry about your team. Don't worry about ours. Why? Are you jealous? Are you jealous that in a year that the Giants couldn't get out their own way, they beat y'all not once, but twice? That's how they got to 6 games, 6 wins? Are you jealous? Speaking of the Giants, listen, I'm sorry. It's proving my point. Mr. Don LaGreca, are you mad? Are you upset that the Jets possibly have Super Bowl aspirations? And he's like, well, the Jets, they have no choice because they're beholden to Aaron Rodgers. And what they should do is just admit that they're beholden to Aaron Rodgers, that Aaron Rodgers runs the franchise. Aaron Rodgers does it whatever the hell he pleases. And the fact that y'all will bend over and take it like the men that y'all claim to be. I'm like this. Okay. Are you mad because y'all don't got no quarterback? Are you mad that you have your piece of quarterback is coming off an ACL injury? Are you mad about those hideous uniforms? Actually, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He is mad about those hideous uniforms, the red and khaki pants that they're coming out with the 80th or the 100th year anniversary. Some like the Giants colors. I mean, they call them Big Blue for a reason, not Big Red, Big Blue. But worry about those hideous uniforms. Don't worry about our pristine back to the 80s flashback of 40 years of excellence. Even though, matter of fact, yeah, because the 80s, I think we made the postseason maybe like 5 times in the 80s. 82, 85, 86, 89, and I think 81. About 5 times in the 80s. All in the pristine green and white and the white and green. You know, the old throwbacks will come back new again. New again. But the vitriol in which they were shouting down people who literally is like, look, as long as he's healthy and as long as he plays well during the season, we don't care. We're paying him $40 million to show up during the regular season. We don't care. These are the same people that probably would have been, well, if he would have tweaked his Achilles or he would have had soreness in his leg, they would have been like, well, somebody that's his age with the wear and tear on his body, being the fact that he's coming back from such a catastrophic injury, these would have been the same other efforts that would have been like, well, I understand that he attended, but did he really have to go full throttle? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's the plight of the New York Jets. That's the plight with all of my teams, the Jets, the Mets, the Knicks. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. This drummed up drama. Does this look like a guy that gives one iota of how you feel? Look at him with the medicine ball. Look at that mustache, that chiseled body, that frame. Look at that face of determination. Look at the veins popping out his arms. Look at that throwing motion. That's all we're concerned about. That's all we're concerned about. We're concerned about him doing the most when it counts the most. Everything's so transparent. I can see through that. I can see through your attempts at trying to drum up some controversy for ratings. Tell you the truth, I should come closer. So I can smack the shit out you. I swear I was about this close to recording voice memos of how I was feeling at that particular time because I was, they got my gander. They pissed me off. And I guess that was the goal. Not the goal to specifically piss me off, but the goal to piss off JET Nation as a whole, as an entity, as a crew. And guess what? Y'all did it. But now, since that subsided, since we're going on 2 weeks after the mini camp, what are y'all going to do now? What are y'all going to do now? Y'all going to talk about the Hassan Reddick situation, which is kind of, I ain't going to lie, kind of worrisome. Like, we traded for this guy, and he's kind of like holding out without holding out because he wants a new contract. And my thing is, I'm quite sure that was discussed before they pulled the trigger on that trade to give up prime draft picks. And everything was kind of revolved around, all right, we have this piece, so therefore we can concentrate on these other pieces. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we don't need him. But I still would be confident if we don't have Hassan Reddick. Because what he did in Philly, okay, we hope that he does it with us. We expect him to do it with us. But listen, we spent the first round draft pick on Real McDonald. Hopefully he got his weight up so he can handle his business, just like Jermaine Johnson got his weight up between year 1 and year 2 and handled his business last year. I think personally, we need more of an interior presence than another edge rusher. Because if we get an interior presence, then you could just, and hopefully we'll be playing with a lead, you could have the dogs out and pin their ears back in 1, 2, 3, go. But Hassan Reddick, like, yo, I mean, I touted the horns. I touted you as that guy coming into the fold. And best believe you need to come into the fold quick. But we still got training camp isn't open yet. Training camp hasn't been open yet. And still got some time. But this make-believe drama is unbecoming. See, now for the main event. I chose to save the best for last. Even though it was an executive decision because I was going to start off with this, but I'm like, you know what? I want to give this time to breathe. Let that breathe. Yeah. I know y'all probably wondering, why do I have Renee from Storage Wars on the screen? I really don't know. But this is a recap. I know, like y'all been eagerly awaiting this. This is a recap of the last week in the life of Mike Steph. Yes, as I said before, last week I gave y'all an old episode, right? Because I was not really here. I was here, but I wasn't here. I was here, but I wasn't here. Last Sunday was Father's Day. Or as I affectionately called it, Happy Mother Effer's Day. Hence, we're fathers because some people are mothers. And how are they mothers? Because the fathers effed the mothers, and we created Spawn. So my affectionate name for Father's Day is Happy Mother Effers Day. Whatever. So last weekend, me and the missus went down to the lovely state of Pennsylvania to see our brother Mont and our sister Steph. You know, y'all remember brother Mont and sister Steph from the eagerly awaited part 3 of Couples Retreat, but I affectionately call them brother and sister. We went down there for Father's Day cookout. Um, Time had flown so much that I didn't even realize it was almost. It's been 10 months since I seen my brother and my sister. You know, I mean, life has happened, but the one good thing about them, about our relationship in general, is, and me and Mark talked about it in passing, that we don't have to see nor speak to each other for months. No animosity. There's no thinking in the mind of, darn, did I say something? Oh, are they pissed off at me? Oh, they ain't effing with us no more. No, like I said, we're all married. We all have children. We all have families. We all have jobs, and we have life. So when we do come together, we come together. We form like Voltron, and it's like no time has passed. That's still my sis. That's still my brother, and vice versa. And it just picks up to where we're going. You know, we might shoot each other. Which go? We might f with each other like, yo, Mike, yo, I text you, you didn't text back, or you wait, you take like 3 weeks to call me back, or but it's playful. It's not personal, and that's what I truly love about our relationship, our friendship, our brotherhood and sisterhood, so forth. So we went down there, great time. Um, Only bad part was we couldn't spend as much time as we would have liked because it was Sunday. Everybody had to go to work, but yours truly, because I'm off Domingo and Martes, um, for non-Spanish people, Sunday and Monday. So you normally we go down. If anything, we go down. We spend the night, get up the next morning. Even even if we was off, the way we work, all right, we go down, we spend the night. They go to work. We let ourselves out because Mark got the system. Or our nephew make sure everything's locked up when we leave, so forth. But it just wasn't really prudent for us to have to be able to do that because my wife had to be at work earlier than we probably would have wanted to get up. So, yeah. The funny thing is, the back of my mind, something told me to bring my trusty ass laptop and this little camera and this microphone just for the eventuality or the possibility that we were going to have a couple retreat part 3. But I second guessed myself. I thought about it the last minute. I'm like, we're not spending the night. It's going to be a barbecue, so there's going to be a lot of moving parts. We're not really going to have enough time to really sit down, divert, and really give ourselves, the time that we normally give each other. So I chose not to. The stuff that was being discussed, Sister Steph was like, "Your brother, you should have brought it down. Next time, don't even think about it. Don't even second guess yourself. Just bring it down." And I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm just going to, when we packing up, that's going to be part of the package. And yeah, it would have been great to have some of that stuff on film. Um, the funniest part was, now I think we even said in part 2 that our our marriages are similar. It's just the roles are kind of reversed. Like, to a certain degree, she's the spokesman for them, and I'm the spokesman for us. And when we formed like Voltron between the four of us, I ain't gonna lie, I see the way to Sister Steph because she handles the damn thing. But this time I was like, you know what? New year, new me. Guess what I'm gonna do? I am going to surprise them. I'm gonna order a cake from Wegmans because normally when we get together, they order a cake from Wegmans for yours truly because most of the time birthday. It's like, you know what? They would never think that for Father's Day I would bring a cake down there from the city. Got them. We get in. They wasn't home. They ran out, so we get in. We dropped off our stuff. We put the cake in the refrigerator. Then we run out. They come back. Mom was like, "Yo, Steph, I thought we ordered the cake. How come the cake is already in the refrigerator?" Then that's when they realized, oh shoot, Mike and Mika brought the cake. So we not had one cake, we had two cakes. But a very, very important thing was found, was discovered about the cake. See, it's gone over my head exactly how she orders the cake. So, i.e., the icing. I don't remember it being whipped cream icing. I thought it was buttercream. Then we found out a distinction between buttercream and whipped cream. They both taste fabulous, but she gets hers with whipped cream. I got mine with buttercream, and buttercream maybe a little bit more fattening, but regardless, a lot of people didn't take cake home. So guess who took home half the cake? Yeah, yours truly. So I guess in actuality, it's a good thing I bought that cake because that ended up being extra cake. Well, we didn't have to worry about anybody, not having enough cake because shoot, it was more than enough the cake to go along. But yeah, that was great. It was funny because I was like, see, I was trying to. She was like, brother, I got it. She was like, next time we can communicate that both of us are gonna get these cakes, and we just kind of got a nice long sheet, which makes sense. And then I would have had a half sheet instead of half a cake. But I digress. But yeah, so Father's Day was great. Just any time to get out the city is great. Anytime we spent with our family, extended family is great. Another thing that I got, it's funny. One of the advantages, one of the perks of your children actually getting old and grown is the fact that you actually get presents. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the the macaroni necklace or well, you know what? Matter of fact, I love the homemade cards. Tell you the truth, if my daughter Mia, the lovely Mia, still got me a homemade card, that would actually make my day because she used to make the best homemade cards. I want to say I still have one of the last homemade cards she made me. She just now she's like, look, I'm too grown for that. Look, I'm gonna buy you a card, or I'm gonna give you a gift. You gonna take this gift. You gonna take this gift. So last year, was it last year? Year before last? I want to say year before last. She gave me $100. Now, anybody who knows me knows I am not a taker. I do not know how to receive nothing. I'm a giver. So, especially for my children, I don't know. I've always felt funny receiving anything from them. Like I remember when my son Kai got me my PlayStation 4 for Christmas. I felt like I literally had tears in my eyes because I'm like, wow, like he was so happy that he was able to do that for me. Because he knew it. He was like, yeah, there's a missing piece, Dad. Yo, it's missing piece, and just didn't feel right. You're not smoking cigarettes. You're not playing video games. Something's not right. We could just feel it in your aura. So I had to get the game. So, Mia gave me $100, and she was like, Dad, make sure you spend it on you. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, making sure you spend it on you. Don't spend it for the house. Don't spend it for us. Just enjoy it. This year, she got me a pair of sneakers because she knows I'm a sneakerhead. Those that are on your screen right now, which is on your screen right now, are the New Balance 9060s. Yes, the Castle Rock. Castle Rock. down the Castle Rock, down the Castle Rock. When I say those sneakers are so damn comfortable, like on the low, I'm not gonna lie, I am a New Balance head because they are so comfortable. Um, it's just that since I have a lot of Nike apparel, I try not to be that guy and cross brand. Wearing other brand sneakers with my Nike apparel, like my Nike sweaters, jackets, jerseys, so forth. But I will say that New Balance sneakers are way more comfortable than Nikes. I don't care Air Max, Jordans, um, they're just more comfortable than the majority of Nike sneakers. It's just like I said, and plus I don't know, I like Nike styles better. But now that I'm getting older and I'm walking a lot, and my feet are starting to feel a certain way from the amount of walking that I'm doing. I already have bunions, not severe bunions, but I already have bunions. Now I'm starting to get bunionettes, which are bunions on your pinky toe, which is not great. That means I need extra width. And even though I showed you the picture, look at these. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful sight. Look at the width. Look at that. That's because this looks hardly nothing like the picture, but look at this. It's just this is just great. So when I open these up, right? Um, she ordered them from Stadium Goods, and my old ass, I had to ask when I saw because they had like one of the Stadium Goods zip ties. So I asked her. Part of it was joking, but part of it I was dead serious. I asked them like, Mia, is this are this like is this like a sneakerhead sneaker? Because I saw them and I liked them because she bought like I think the cream pair, and I was like, and she said they're so comfortable. I was like, they're nice. She's like, you like them? Like, yeah, they're nice. See, because I'm an old school New Balance dude. I like the 574s because they come in all flavors. They're comfortable. You know, I mean, you can't wear them to death, but you mix and match whatever, right? So when she said, did I like them? I said, yeah. I think she asked me what color. I didn't really catch on to that. She was planning on buying them. So I was like, yeah, I think, in my mind, I'm like, I need another pair of gray sneakers. For some reason, I like gray sneakers. But yeah, I like those. And yeah, she got them for me. She got them for me. That was a great present. Great present. A present that killed two birds with one stone because A, I never turn down sneakers. B, they're comfortable as hell. And C, is one thing I will probably cherish. I probably won't wear them much because I'm going to try to keep them up as much as possible. Same thing with, I want to say, my son Kai gave me a pair of Jordan 13s, the white and royal blue pair, and I haven't worn them in about I haven't worn them in 3 years. I haven't worn them since he passed. Um, I might break them out for his birthday because I know he's probably like, yo, dad, I gave you these. Which I gave you these Jordans. You're not even rocking the Jordan. Like, what's good with that? So, but yeah, great present, great present. Now, next thing that happened was I'm going back and forth with my cousin O from North Kakalaka, right? Wish him happy birthday, happy Father's Day, because he's a God fearing man. So am I, but he's a God fearing man. So I wasn't gonna say Happy Mother Effers Day because he'd be like, whoa, cuz. So, um, I'm going to North Kakalaka next weekend for um, another cousin's birthday, baby shower. We're going right outside of Raleigh, and my cousin resides in Raleigh. So I told him in the March, listen, because he always one year I went down to Greensboro, or I was passing through Greensboro, and I took a picture and put it on Instagram. I hadn't heard from my cousin months. All of a sudden, I just get a notification. Doo-doo-doo. Yo, cuz, you in my state and you didn't even let me know, cuz? I swear, I thought he was about to set trip on me. But and I and he felt the way, and I was like, you know what, looking back at that time, I didn't take it that way, but we both grown, and both matured. So looking back, I'm like, yeah, I see how he could take that way. So now, whenever I'm in his vicinity, I let him know. But I also do let him know that my time is limited because 9 times out of 10, I'm coming down for an occasion, for an event. So I don't really have that much free time to divert to go see my cousin, which I know you can always make time for your family. So last year when I went down for Father's Day for my goddaughter's first birthday, we was in Greensboro. I let him know I was gonna be in Greensboro, and I was like, "Look, which go? We could." He was like, we could meet up for brunch." I was like, "You know what? That'll work." So he found the place maybe about 10 minutes from where I was staying, and we went had brunch, had a great conversation, like a conversation that I could truly say that was a long time coming, but it really, really, to me, it really brought us closer. For all these years, 'cause I'm the older cousin. Like he's the only cousin that I'm kind of older than on my side of the family. So it was a good conversation, but nevertheless, um, from that point on, we made a point that keep in touch, as in whenever I'm in the vicinity or whenever. So he came up to the city earlier this year, unfortunately not for a celebratory situation. His uncle was in the hospital, so he came up for a couple of days, and we met Midtown. Well, pretty much Chelsea. Went to the Chelsea Market. Walked around, had another great conversation. So, long story short, I told him in the March, I'm like, look, I'm coming down to Raleigh at the end of June. I'm giving you 3 months notice. I'm coming down. He was like, all right. He's like, I'm not sure. I think I'm which quarter because now his son, my cousin, um, is on a traveling soccer team, and I think they had a trip to Tokyo. And just so happened the weekend that I go down there, which is next weekend, is the weekend he will be coming back from Japan. So I have probably one day to squeeze in with him, which will probably be next Sunday. This shower is Saturday. Sunday is the barbecue. So and it's only right that he said he's gonna be jet lagged. So for me to come see him is like a half hour difference. All right, no problem. Like he drove 2 hours to Greensboro, so it's that brunch. Not a problem. He's driven 3.5 hours to Richmond when I was down with my grandkids to see me. No problem. So if I have to see him. But what brought this conversation up was this. And here I go violating, uh, you know, text message etiquette. But I will only say this. He said to me, and I quote, I'm going to start to send you invites into events to get you to visit me. I was like, oh. He's like, I'm just saying. You come to all this North Carolina, Virginia stuff because of invites. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to send you an invite to come holler at your cuz. I'm like, look, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But look at it this way. These things that I go to, these events that I go to, brings me close enough to see you. He's like, yes, barely. I need a trip for you to come here to hang out with me and me only. But here's the kicker, because that's because. Maybe it's because I'm black. Never mind the fact that, like, that's my second cousin. Yeah, because his grandma, my grandma was sisters. Do you not think we spoke both? Even though my grandma with the lighter shade, but never here there. He's funny. He's funny. But yeah, I definitely gotta see him. I definitely gotta see him. Um, he's a fucking trip. Now, the third salvo, third topic. This man right here, Aaron R. Shyster. You know what his motto was? I'll tell you what his motto was if you don't know. His motto was the IRS always gets his man. And not only do they always get their man, when they get their man, they screw him in the ass. Something fierce, something awesome. Well, I had a conversation with Irvin R. Shyster this week. I had to be on hold for 2 hours. Yes, 2 hours, which is the equivalent of 120 minutes. And you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Now, me and Irvin R. Shyster, because, he came to me at the end of last year and said, Mr. Steph, got to talk to you for a minute. Mr. Steph, you owe me. And you need to make an arrangement so I can get my bread. And I said, you know what? It's only fair. It's all right. Fine. So I made said arrangement with Irvin R. Shyster. So every month, say on the 28th of every month, I'm supposed to knock on Irvin R. Shyster's door and give him an envelope of said cash until my debt is paid. You know what Irvin R. Shyster did this month? He shysted me. Yes, he shysted me. Let me tell you. So, being the fact that I know I was going away at the end of the month, actually the weekend of the 28th, and I'm trying to be an upstanding citizen, a responsible citizen, I'm trying to handle my responsibilities, being proactive. I said, you know what? How about I give this payment that's due on the 28th on the 5th? Get it out the way. So I don't got to worry about, oh, I'm strapped for cash. Oh, this needs to be put over there. Blah, 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 blah. Great. Figuring I'm ahead of the game. So I opened up the mailbox the other day, and guess what? I see a notice from Irvin R. Shyster. And I'm like, all right, well, that's probably just a receipt of the payment, the envelope that I gave Irvin earlier this month. Why this shit still said the amount that I owed still was owed? I'm like, how can this be? So instead of doing what I normally would have did back in the days and just say, you know what, I know I paid it, F it. I was like, you know what, let me double check. So hence the 2 hour wait for the phone call, right? So when I speak to the representative for Aaron, because Aaron wasn't available at the time, the representative told me, like, that's because the computer picked it up as an extra payment and not as your actual installment. So what I would recommend is in the future, just make sure that your payment is close to the date that is due. So therefore, it actually registers as your installment payment and not just extra money you're throwing on. I'm like, hold on, let me get this straight. So y'all got my payment, but that payment is not being applied to what I owe this month. So, in other words, y'all want me to pay twice. That's correct, sir. And I'm laughing. I'm like, so in other words, it doesn't pay to be proactive. It doesn't pay to handle your business early. It doesn't pay to try to be responsible, does it? And you know what she said? She said, unfortunately not. I understand your plight, but the IRS always gets its man. And I'm like, wow. I was flabbergasted, I tell you, flabbergasted that this is what really happened. So going into this next weekend, I'm going to have to call. So I was like, all right. So even though I made a payment and you see that I made the payment, what happens if I don't make this extra payment? Well, then it'll come out. It'll come out as if you missed your payment. I was like, whoa, but I did miss my payment. They was like, yeah, but we can't control the computers. So the computer's going to pick up that you missed your payment. I was like, so am I going to get penalized more than I'm already am for, late with my payment? No, I'm like, I mean, are you going to discontinue my agreement? They said no. I'm like, how can I trust you? Not you per se, but how can I trust Aaron? We had a handshake agreement. Matter of fact, we had an agreement written in blood of $200 and some odd dollars just to get to the agreement. How can I trust y'all for not shysting me out of extra money once again? She's like, well, you can follow my advice, and next month just make it close to the 28th, and you won't have those problems. Or what you can do is when you make your payment, you post date it. So even though you make it, let's say on the 5th, you say I don't want it withdrawn until 27th, 28th. And I'm like, you must not know how niggas work, do you? If I see that money in my account, guess what? I assume that you already took it. If I didn't take it by that date that I actually make the payment, guess what? That's your loss, not mine. Yeah, Erwin R. Shyster, the IRS always gets his man. Now, the next thing is a phenomenon that's probably going to get me in trouble, but my wife knows where my heart lies. My wife knows where my eyes lie. So take of that as you wish. What do you see on the screen? I'll wait. You see a stomach. You see blue leotards. See arms. But what do you see right above the words Mike Steph? You see a crease, right? You know what that crease is called? That crease is called what this is, a camel toe. A camel toe. But you know what I would refer to that as? What I've been seeing a lot of lately because of summertime and people are exposing themselves way too much. I'm seeing this. The fist. The fist. Fist of the North Star! Or the SmackDown fist in people's pants. I don't know what. Yeah, look at Stitch on the side. Stitch is transgaged, if that's such a word. Transfixed, yeah, transfixed on the image on your screen. More like this cocky mother effer right here. But I'll talk about him next week. there's an epidemic going on. I don't know if it's happening in other states. I can only go based on the word that I know, and that's that people are. I don't know. I think I read an article that girls, women know that men, well, some men um, are transfixed or taken aback by this in their this bulge that's in their um, tights. As long as it looks like, well, looks like that and not like that, or like this, or like this, I guess it's all right. But people are actually putting stuff in their leotards to simulate having a camel toe, simulate having the SmackDown fist, simulate having the fist of the North Star. You know, you know what else is apropos to having the fist of the North Star in one's pants? The saying that you're already dead and you don't even know it. The only way you get it is if you watch the cartoon. If it didn't, okay. Next one. Yeah, it's almost like this is my 2024 version of back on his bullshit. Next one is this.
Funniest thing just happened. I'm trying to do my civic duty, early voting. And I guess because either A, I didn't really think it out, or B, I misunderstood exactly what being a registered independent means. I didn't realize that it was like a Democratic primary, so I go into the voting place and I'm doing my little walk, and they pull up my name after confusing me with my son, and it's like, oh yeah, you have a no contest. Like, huh? Yeah, because you have no allegiance to a party. You have to go to the affidavit table. All right, no problem. So I go to the affidavit table, and they was like, well, in order for you to vote, you would have to, pick a party for this upcoming election. So if you like, since it's a Democratic primary, you would have to pretty much become a registered Democrat for this upcoming election if you vote now. But the general election, you don't have to vote. I mean, I don't have to go through all the hoops and everything, which makes sense. It makes sense, But the funny thing is, I'm like, damn, I'm going on my walk. I see early voting. These are elections, I'm not even gonna lie, very seldom do I actually partake in, even though these are probably the most important elections, for councilwoman and district chairman and all the other stuff, and judges. So I try to do my civic duty, and because I didn't pick red or blue, I ain't banging each side. I'm neutral, so I gotta stay on the sidelines. Interesting. Life of an independent. Not independent party, per se. No. No allegiance. Food for thought.
Now, I knew that, but I guess I got so caught up in my civic duty that I really just, because like the path that I walk, especially on Sundays, um, is near the community center, well, the recreation center, and that's the spot for early voting for my district. So it was right in my face. I'm like, you know what? I had no excuse to. I'm quite sure it's gonna be bare bones in there anyway. Ain't nobody really gonna be in there. Which, no, there wasn't. Like there was the people that was working the polls, and that was it. I didn't see no that. Matter of fact, I think during my walk, I might have saw about 3 people that actually came out from voting. They had more people outside than that was actually more people that was actually working the polls than the actual voters. But neither here nor there. I never knew that for you to vote in the primary, like I said, I knew beforehand. It just slipped my mind that I'm not I'm not eligible to vote in primaries because I have no allegiance to a party. So why would I vote in the primary? But I didn't realize that you can go in there and you can actually switch. Like, all right, well, I like this candidate enough that I'm going to be a Democrat for this election, and then I'll go back to being an independent, which seems like a lot of work. Like it took me years to actually change my affiliation. I'll probably talk about that at a later date. The closer we come to general election in November, but yeah, it was almost like when I left after the guy explained it to me, I was like, all right, no problem, all right, thank you. And about face, like, look, I switched my destination for a reason. Like none of these candidates are uh, important enough for me to switch it back just for them. If that was the case, if that's the case, then I wait until the general election because they should be able to get to their primary, get past their primary. But it's like when I was leaving out, I could feel like eyes on me. I could swear I heard something mumble behind me, as in, like, yeah, you think he's smart. Or see, that's what he gets for trying to be smart, or something to that effect. And my response to be like, all right, stop being a fucking sheep. Excuse my French, because I think that's the first F bomb that I actually dropped today. Um, there's a reason, like there's a reason why I became a registered independent. I'm not part of the independent party. No, I don't want to be a part of any party. I want to have the freedom, or should I say, I want to make the candidate have to speak to me, my issues, not just assume that, well, since we have such and such registered Democrats, we're taken care of. Since we've got such and such registered Republicans, they're taken care of. Okay, if the numbers add up, we don't really have to reach for any more votes. I was talking to someone today, a friend of my daughter's, and I asked him point blank, I'm like, you vote? And he said, yeah. He's not really enthusiastic. And I was like, you know what? I get it. I get it. Like, I personally feel that our ancestors lost their lives to give us the right to vote, to enable us the privilege to vote. So even when the candidates leave much to be desired, it's my duty, my duty as a black man, it's my duty as an African American to vote. Now, some people would say, well, if you're not voting for this or you're not voting for that, and you're voting for the whatever, that's wasting your vote. You can have that opinion. I feel like, well, why would I vote for somebody that I don't particularly believe in? But I'm not going to abstain, because to me that would be a stain on the legacy of the people who gave their life for us to have that right. And how I felt, or how I feel, is over the last 40 years, this quote unquote two-party system has become literally like some neighborhoods in LA. Either you banging red or you banging blue. And there's no in between, there's no compromise, there's no working together for the greater cause. Shoot, maybe we need to get Kendrick down in DC and have him have everybody get on stage and hash it out. Have a have a have a party cello, for lack of a better word, lack of a better term. But 40 years ago, you knew exactly where each party stood, and you had more of a feeling that whatever nominee ended up becoming the nominee for your party, that their thoughts, their beliefs were more in line with you. Like they really had an invested purpose to try to help you, the everyday average Joe. Not, well, we're just going to take advantage or we're going to take for granted. And I'm not going to lie, the comment of, if you don't vote for me, you ain't really black. Yeah, I know that people can say, well, you listen, I'm still, regardless, you don't say that shit. That stunt he pulled earlier this year where he went to the black family in North Carolina and they were having cookout. And he brought fried chicken. Think. There's so much corruption in politics right now, and I'm gonna get off my high horse with this last thing. It actually has nothing to do with what I just said. It's more local. Somebody's really trying to set Governor Hochul up because whatever advice that she got to cause her to flip flop on that congestion pricing 3 weeks before it's about to be in effect, like literally it's supposed to be in effect next Sunday, and to cause all these problems financially for the state, and to have people in both parties looking at them, or should I say, people in her own party, like, I don't get it. Somebody gave her that advice, not with good intentions. Somebody gave her that advice to set her up. It's almost like somebody gave, matter of fact, perfect analogy. Somebody gave Nurse Jackie the wrong pill. Gave her a hot shot in the arm. You get my gist. Now, the last topic, the last thing that happened to me last week, or I encountered last week, and I'm going to say this as discreet as possible because I don't want it to come across as if I'm judging. I don't want it to come across. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it, but I'm going to watch my words and my tenor, right? So last week, um, my sister U, she came home. I say that like she just came home from upstate. Her husband went to DR for a mini vacation, so my sister U got a nice tan, right? Like my sister U is a little, maybe. I tell you the truth, I think we're probably around the same shade, but she came back dark. Right? Trying to think. Darn. It's funny because everybody know that the Usos are darker than Roman Reigns. Usos got that extra ooze in them, you know. But regardless, but yeah, she came home with a deep tan, right? So one of my nephews, you know, looks at his grandma like, "Whoa, grandma, you need to get in the shower. Why? You gotta wipe that off. Wipe what off, grandma? You like, other words, he's not. He's like, hold on, you left one color, you came back darker. That got to be dirt. You got to wipe that off. Okay, right? Ha ha ha. So we follow it up with um, conversation happened, and it was like, yeah, you're black, I'm white. Now, my sister let my nephew know, um, you're black too. We have like because of his age, you gotta simplify it. But like we have a lot of nationalities in our family. We have which go with from we got Trinidadian in our family. Matter of fact, let's just say in there, Trin- Trinidadian, um, he has Puerto Rican, he has black or African American, Ecuadorian, and that's just the main part. And then if you go further into the archives with our family, we have Portuguese, we have yeah, yeah, we have some white in our family. Um, we have a lot of shoot, we have a lot of nationalities in our family, and we come out in all different shades, right? There was one track that I made years ago, entitled David Wright. It was a warming up Kane freestyle, right? And I wrote this, there was two bars in particular. I'm dark skinned though, half my family looking white. From sharecropper to shareholder to me hugging the block. Spin. Because me and my sister joke about it. Between me and my sister, we have 8 kids, right? And on both sides, the the Caucasian gene pops up every other child. So her oldest, brown skin. The second, light skin, gray eyes. My mom used to call him the gray eyed devil. Her third, brown skin. Her fourth, light skin, green, like greenish eyes. My niece, right? Now on my side, my oldest, he would tell you he's light skinned, but he was brown skinned. You couldn't tell Kai he wasn't light skinned. He look at you like, the fuck you talking about? Don't you see this light skin on me? Mikey, chef mix, fairer complexion. Then we have Mia, my chocolate drop. And then we have main event K, fair complexion. Like when she was younger, um, her nickname was Red because she was that. It's which goes. It's an old school term, and I'm not going to say that in my mouth because that's my daughter. But especially when she cried, she would turn red. She was very fair, and when she got upset or when she cried, she would turn red. So which called one of the family members called her Red, and that kind of which called that kind of stuck. So the only thing is my which called my kids didn't get the variation of eyes because my mom had close to hazel eyes. She had real light brown eyes. Like I got brown eyes. I got medium brown. But in I'm not gonna lie, I used to be on some BS. Like when that sun hit the eyes a certain way when I was younger, and I let the girlies see my eyes, they melted. My wife could tell you. Wife could tell you. You know, she said she was talking to somebody, and they end up both knowing me. It was like, you know, Mike? Yeah, what Mike? Mike with the eyes? Yeah, Mike with the eyes. Matter of fact, matter of fact, hold on. Hello, this is Mike Steph from the Mike Steph podcast. Is this my lovely wife?
Yes.
Okay, I can see I probably just which going to interrupt you because you might have been falling asleep. But I have a question that I which I want to ask you.
What's your question, babe?
Okay. Remember when we first got together, and which girl you found out you and a friend both knew me, and he was trying to figure out which girl what was the distinct feature on me that y'all figured out what Mike y'all was talking about.
Yeah.
My eyes.
Oh, your brown eyes.
Yeah. What color my eyes?
Like a hazel, light brown.
You, you see that? You hear that? You hear that? No, I was talking about the history of my kind of my family, or how which go every other child me and my sister have, which go when brown, when light, but which go we didn't get the eyes for so much, but they originate from my mom, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, and I used to be on some BS, like I which go I make sure the sun hit my eyes, and when you saw the sun in my eyes, what did you do?
So I smile.
Yeah. Shoot. Listen, my see, y'all think I'm bullshitting. That's why I had to get my baby on the line, So, all right, that's all. I just needed some extra proof just in case these mother effers think I was lying.
Why would you lie about your eyes?
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, and she's not just saying this because she's my wife. She's saying this because it's true, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try. We watching at the end, or we waiting until 10 o'clock to watch it on Max.
It's up to you.
All right. Yeah, House of Dragons coming on. So yeah, I'm about to wrap this up shortly. All right, babe. I'll see you in a minute.
I love you.
Love you too. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot. So not only do I just always call myself the dashing one, the debonair one, the ravishing one, just heard it from my wife's mouth. You know, shoot, I had those. Shoot, even my mom used to tell me, make pretty eyes. Now I would not do that on screen because y'all not gonna be making fun of me for eternity. But my mom knew. My mom knew she had a look on her hands, and shoot. And when she unleashed me on the world, guess what? Got 4 children. But I say all that to say it's the gist of what I was saying was this. I personally wanted to know, and hopefully we'll find out, but for my nephew to utter the words, I'm white, you're black, that probably means somebody has been talking either in front of him about certain things or has been talking about him in front, which go in certain things in front of him, and not from home. I'm leaning toward the school because if you look at my nephew, matter of fact, if you look three of my oh, one, two, three, yeah, my three great nephews, or three of my great nephews. I gotta check that. Three of my great nephews, right? Because I got which guy? I got Grayson, who's my nephew's son. If I'm talking about my three for my niece, right? If you look at them, um, you couldn't tell that there was any black in them, right? Number one. Number two, this nephew in particular, if you look at him, you would think he's a Caucasian male. He's a Caucasian boy. He got like dirty blonde hair, gray eyes, or green eyes, green or gray eyes, or is it blue eyes? I don't know, but pretty much they're not brown. And like I said, he maybe a little bit of a tan lately, but that means somebody. My thing is, especially when children are a certain age, let them be. Like I shouldn't say let them be, but they shouldn't be indoctrinated so much on being, or should I say, be judged. Like that's why it's important for at home to instill in your children or allow your children to know the history of your family. I mean, that's kind of a problem that I'm having in my older age because since I was the baby, a lot of things went past me, and the people, the holders of the key, the holders of the secrets, the holders of the past, are not here to tell me now that I'm in a state that I'm actually receiving better. Instead of before, I probably wasn't feeling nothing. I was just doing me. I tell my, like, we go through pictures, family heirloom, family pictures, and I show my kids. I'm like, look, and they're like, who that? I'm like, sure. Like my oldest great nephew. Well, not my oldest, but um, one of my great nephews came to the barbecue we had for my son's birthday right after he passed. And he's playing around with the cousins or whatever. And that's the first time my daughter Mia met him. So she didn't know who he was. Long story short, I'm not getting into that. But she was like, Dad, whose boy is that? I'm like, what? She's like, the white boy right there. I'm like, that's your cousin. She's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, come over. Yeah. Because she was very little. She was very young the last time we had all been together. So this is before anybody had kids. But yeah, so it's really important for parents to allow and tell their children their history. There shouldn't be any type of deep dark secrets of, especially, and maybe I'm speaking out of bounds because I'm not a product of that directly, as a, like a which girl, like of a mixed race. Like my mom was black, my dad was black, whatever. So maybe which I'm overstepping, but I feel like especially in those cases, they need to have knowledge of both sides. No matter if you grew up on one side, you grew up. Let's say the couple's not together, they're not married or whatever, and they end up being with the mother or the father. They still need to have knowledge of both sides. That's just my feeling. It's great when they are together, when the couple still stick together and they can raise them jointly. It's they have the best of both worlds. I joke, and this is probably the last thing I want to say. I joke that um, I got some more in me, boys. Because my mom, she had a Italian boyfriend back in the day, um, and I affectionately called him Uncle Chuck, John. But I don't know how we get Chuck from John, but neither here nor there. And at a young age, he kind of which go exposed me to the finer things. So it's not like I'm ever awestruck or like, oh my God. Like that kind of instilled in me, like when you go out to eat, tipping and not going out to eat. If you have to go out to eat on a budget or you have to go on vacation on a budget, guess what? Shouldn't go. I was taught that if I gotta look at the prices on the menu, guess what? My ass shouldn't be there. Because going out is a privilege. Going out is something to enjoy. You're not supposed to be stressed out like, darn, I can't do this, I can't do that. Then what the hell you out? That's what the hell you eating out for? So I say all that to say there was plenty of times that me and my mom and Uncle Chuck would go out, and my mom was very fair skinned, and she was with this older Italian guy. Um, some would say that my mom was the guma of the Italian guy. Um, look it up, and I don't say that as a disrespectful term of endearment to a certain degree. Because listen, Uncle Chuck took very good care of both of us for years. So we would go. I think we went to this one Italian restaurant out in Sheepshead Bay called Randazzo's. Right now, they still operate, but it was Randazzo's and it was Randazzo's clam bar. Now it's just a clam bar. And we went there and they looked at Uncle Chuck, they looked at my mom, they looked down, so my black ass, and they was like, "Oh, we know what time it is," and they proceeded to give us the worst service ever. And in this case, I'll say Mr. Minetti had to let them know, like, look, I've come here. I don't give a fuck who I bring here. You're not going to treat me. You're not going to treat her. And damn sure not going to treat him and make him feel uncomfortable. My cast is just as good. My cast was good before. My cast is good now. And pretty much let them know, especially after he had a couple of Rob Roars, his mouth got real reckless. Needless to say, there was a lot of arguments of, that's the last time you're going to utter that word, utter that phrase, you people. What I keep on saying about when you say you people. Listen, I'm keeping it a buck right now. You know, I don't think he meant it in a derogatory way, but it was the time of when he was growing up. Yeah, that's what I don't give about what I don't understand about you people. The fuck you mean, you people? Yeah, you people. What? You people? And my mom would say what she was saying in response. She was like, yeah, listen, don't start that guinea shit. Like, look, if I'm gonna say you people, you think I'm not gonna utter the other side? Listen, black. The fuck? I'm not catering for them. That's not in my heart, but either here or there. Damn, it's going on 2 hours. Shit. I did not expect this to be that long. But regardless, I don't care. But yeah, it's very important. It's very important. And yeah, that was the week. Matter of fact, I'd be remiss if I don't mention this because it was part of my week, and actually probably the most important part of my week. At my shoot job, there was this one lady that came, and I'm a loud speaker. I'm a loud talker. So she's like, Don, your voice is heavy. I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah, you got a heavy voice. Like, you're meant to do things. You're meant to do things with your voice. I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, do you go to church? You believe? I was like, I believe there's a higher power. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. She's like, yeah, you go to church? I'm like, no. She's like, do you, what religion? Like, I don't really have a religion, right? So I had that conversation, whatever. She leaves. And she was telling me like her testimony about certain things that was going on in her life, and and she made it through. Thanks to Christ, thanks to Jesus. So next day she comes through and we have a little small talk. I want to say the following day she comes, she asked me to check something. I check it. And then she gives me a pamphlet. And she said, yeah, there's something for you to read. It was a pamphlet, the Book of John. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I'm not going to lie. In the past, people give me stuff like that. I put it to the side. I might skim through it or whatever. I put it to the side. So I put it in my book bag. And I think, let's say this was a Friday or Saturday. Probably was a Saturday. I'm thinking, like, you know what? My days off, I'll read. I'll skim through it. I'll read it. Didn't do it on my days off. Came back to work. And as soon as I came back from my break, I had this feeling pulling me, saying, go in your book bag and start reading. Coincidentally, at the same time, we all know that social media is all about algorithms. So the more you like, the more things in that vein is going to come to your stream, whether it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, what have you, right? TikTok, same thing. So there's 2 pages I follow. I follow damn, I don't know why I'm blanking on this, but it's Reverend Bonner And darn, why am I blanking on dude? Because he actually got me really into stuff. But regardless, I hopefully I which God out it'll come to me before I forget. So either way, so I'll be watching those, right? And then um Brother Freeman, who is a close friend of the Mojo King, um, part of hip hop, no, hidden gems, and I believe a minister. And his videos start coming on my stream, and the more it came around that same time, and one of his themes, especially over the last week, that he's been putting these gems out, was to don't worry about, don't let the fear of not being able to understand the word prevent you from reading the word. Just open up and start reading. And that's the first step. And that spoke to me. A lot of times when I would see certain things that would pop up, he always spoke to me. Like I could just see, like, you know what, I needed to hear that, or I needed to read that at that particular time. So the combination of this lady comes to me and says what she says and gives me this pamphlet, the Book of John. And then he says, okay, don't worry about not being able to understand, or don't let the fear of not understanding stop you from doing it. Just open it up, start reading, and we can work from there. But we can't work if you don't start. I said, you know what? These are signs. This message is being toward me. There's a reason why she came through. There's a reason why all of a sudden he's on my algorithm. I don't know. I don't know the brother personally. It's like 6 degrees of separation. I'm friends with his friend. You know, and I have immense respect for him, even though I've never met him personally. So I told myself, like, you know what, I'm going to read 20 pages a day, and I did. And what he said about just start, and eventually things will click. Humans are intelligent. It's what we use the intelligence for. But we're intelligent. We pick up on stuff, and sure enough, I'm like, okay. And now, my next step is to pick the next book to read, and not procrastinate while I'm still pick the next one. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was never a reader of the Bible. I mean, the only one I really read back and forth was Book of Revelations, because I guess that negativity at the time caused me to read that. So yeah, that's probably the best way to cap off my week in the life of Mike Steph. Sure, I could have made this 2 episodes, but no. Y'all gonna get this. Y'all gonna get this episode. Y'all gonna get these 2 hours. Cause I had a lot of things to say, and like I said, it's not the salty notes of Mike Steph, salty thoughts of Mike Steph, and everything that came out my mouth today was strictly off the top of my head, no notes whatsoever. Well, people, That brings us to the end of another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me in this here podcast the one y'all choose to listen to. Part of the reason why I made this a super duper episode of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph is because there will not be any new episode running next week. Because, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I'm going to be in North Kakalaka. And guess what? Me being in North Kakalaka, I ain't bringing my laptop. I ain't bringing my camera. I ain't bringing my microphone. I'm not recording on my rapidly depleted smartphone. No, 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 no. So you will see me in 2 weeks. Possibly, probably, definitely. You'll see me in 2 weeks. So, yeah. Like I said, I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me the podcast y'all choose to view and the podcast y'all choose to listen to. I'm going to get out of here. But before I get out of here, let me do the prerequisite plugs. Check out Hidden Gems Football. Matter of fact, look out for Hidden Gems Football, hosted by myself and the Mojo King. New episodes will drop each and every Thursday on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. Please like, subscribe, press that notification button because we are gearing up to get y'all ready for the NFL season. Get y'all ready for the NFL preseason, the NFL training camps. We're going to go division by division, starting with the NFC. I don't know what division yet, but starting with the NFC and rounding our way over to the AFC, home base. But the only way y'all be able to choose, only way y'all be able to view is hitting that notification button on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. Check out the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, the audio version available on the following platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, amongst others. New episodes of the audio version drop each and every Wednesday. Check me out on the social medias at Mike Steffens _ on X, formerly known as Twitter. Check me out on the gram at Mike _ Steph, and check me out on TikTok at Mike Steph _ Cash at me some money. Y'all been cheap. Y'all been cheap. Look, I give y'all a lot of product. I give y'all a lot of content. And y'all can't cash at me a couple dollars? Like, I ain't no Patreon, but shoot, cash at me $1. Just let me know you care. I told y'all last episode, a couple weeks ago, if y'all want to upgrade to seeing me in 1080p, guess what? That stuff ain't cheap. I got to come up with $25 on the Cash App. I get Cash App $25. Guess what? Y'all will see me in crystal clear 1080p. Until then, you're going to see me on this 720p. P stands for pretty. C stands for pretty good. The P stands for, I can't talk about what I talked about at the end of that segment and then come out on this segment can't do it. But let your imagination run wild. Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, available on the following platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, amongst others. And, of course, check out my blog, MikeStephOrg.wordpress.com, where I might give out a couple articles, but more importantly, just in case I go through another shadow ban on the YouTube streets, you will be able to watch the latest episodes of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast at the blog of MikeStephOrg.wordpress.com. And last but not least, check out my brothers from Gimmick Infringement, Winchester and McDowell. Gimmick Infringement, which drops each and every late Sunday night, early Monday morning on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. And because these guys want to be so sneaky and actually have their episode up and ready. So at the strike of 12 midnight West Coast time, Pacific Standard Time, or 3 a.m. Eastern Time, I'm able to watch, I'm able to read the description of what's up next on their giving infringement. The Wyatt Six promised a massacre on WWE Raw, and they delivered. Brad and Tyler share their reactions to the group's debut and what could be next. Also, Jacob Fatu debuted, Drew McIntyre quit, Drew McIntyre returned, and Braun Breaker came into his own. AEW Forbidden Door is this coming weekend. Yeah, well, good luck for y'all. I ain't watching that. The guys will debate Will Ospreay's chances of dethroning Swerve Strickland, which I think are nil, and prepare for Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vergara. Later, they discuss Miro's current status and how much they miss DMD Britt Baker. Other topics include the pop-out, Kendrick and Friends, Detroit's dismissal of head coach Monty Williams, and Fred's 7th birthday. Yes. The lovely daughter of Brad Winchester celebrated her 7th birthday this past week. So I'll be up and ready, waiting to hear about all the shenanigans that happened and all the cake that was imbibed. Yeah, I know you can't imbibe cake, but remember me here. Gimmick infringement, Winchester McDowell. Available on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel. You see, I'm getting tongue-tied because it's 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think this is the longest I've gone since probably about last year this time. And yeah, so with all that being said, I'll catch y'all in 2 weeks. Because like I said, I ain't recording next week. Plus, I need a much needed break. Yes. Even the great ones need a break. Even the best pop in the world needs a break. Yeah, I need a break. And just so coincides that I'm going to be getting some relaxation while I have that break. So I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Stitch, you got anything to say? Because I'm way overdue. Stitch says I'm on some BS because I'm going to North Kakalaki, but guess where he's going to be? He's going to be sitting on this box like he's been doing for the last couple of weeks. You know, I left him stranded last week. I had him share the spotlight with Baby Shark, and now this week I'm going to wait until 2 hours and 12 minutes to actually have it ask for his input. And not only that, I'm going to leave his butt stranded here again in this hot old house. You know, he know the vibes. And y'all know the vibes too. Goodbye.